Achtung! Guten Abend, Damen und Herren, Frau und Mädchen. Was ist los? Ja? Ja oder nein? I'm half German, by the way. I've known what's happening in Australia now for the past week. I didn't mention it over the past few days. All of a sudden, and I know quite a few Austrians actually contacted me, and out of 7,000 some videos that I have, there's an extremely small number, actually less than probably 10, where I tell you to go watch a video. So the link is below. You should go watch this video. Watch it in its entirety. The first section, of course, is interviews from people on the street. It's called Freddie Sayer Investigates Austria's Lockdown of the Unjuiced. Of course, the last word there I changed to unjuiced. And Ach du lieber Scheiße. Was ist los? Jeez. That was German, by the way. I actually thought about making this video earlier today. Watching it pissed me off, but I'm not a person that's driven by emotions. I'm absolutely not. America, the entire world really, is driven by, unfortunately, illogical and emotional people, and my emotions definitely. I've actually found insanely few people, unfortunately, in life that, think things out and are logical. Some people are just spontaneous, like a dog. They don't have free will, because free will is only potential, not actual. For example, not that you should do this, I'm just using an example. I mean, like you kick a dog in the butt, it's other than its nerves reacting, it doesn't think anything. It turns around and bites you, right? And, intelligent human being, I said an intelligent one, someone that's wise. I mean, you do that, and they would spin around, probably like a dog, but they'd think several steps ahead before doing something. Of course, there's a lot of times in life where reaction time is limited when it comes to, saving your own life and other. Anyway, this video is absolutely absurd. Now I know videos can be edited. Obviously, you could interview 1,000 people, and you could edit out the worst ones for shock effect. I mean, I know that fact. Freddie Sayers actually does really good interviews, and you should actually check out his channel. I certainly don't agree with many of the things he says or does, but he's in Austria. First section is interviewing people on the street. What do they think about? If you don't know what's happened in Austria, and this happened 2 weeks ago, roughly, something like that. That the first country in the world to do this, where all the unjuiced people, other than getting groceries and pharmaceuticals that they need to survive, are prisoners in their own home. So Austria learned nothing from World War II. They learned nothing. It's just for your own good. It's for your own. There's an old saying from Deutschland. Back in the 40s. It's I forget the exact saying auf Deutsch, but it's just for your own safety, right? But now, and there's been a new development in the past 24 to 48 hours. A significant portion of this video from Freddie Sayer, you really have to watch this and just see how shockingly, if this was an interview done in the United States, because a lot of people think, and there are people like that, I mean, like Eastern Kentucky. I know a lot of Europeans probably think, well, Eastern Kentucky, that's where them Hatfields and McCoys are, just dumb people wandering around barefoot and pregnant and chewing tobacco and making moons. Well, that's just a bunch of really unintelligent people. So if these Austrians, spoke like Eastern Kentuckians, and I can say that, I'm a Kentuckian, I own land in Kentucky, good pieces of land in Kentucky. Yeah, so these people are that's just pure rabbit insanity. That's just anti-intellectual buffoonery. But these were not Kentuckians, these were Austrians. You should look at and by the way, I hate to make a history reference, but, and I said I'm half German, so I guess I could say this. Herr Schicklgruber, of course that wasn't his name, but I'm just going to use a funny thing that American soldiers said back in the 1940s. They call him Herr Schicklgruber. He was Austrian. He wasn't Deutsch, wasn't German. Just, the video is, you should read the comments in this video too. Please God, watch this video. I mean, I almost never tell people to watch a video. Please, I beg you to watch. If you want to know why World War II atrocities happened, you need to look no further than the mindset, the anti-intellectual insanity of the... And halfway through the video, roughly somewhere around there, he interviews a human rights lawyer, an Austrian human rights lawyer. And the interviewer, which I have a great deal of respect for, you know, his intelligent, thoughtful responses and questions, Mr. Freddie Sayre. Kudos to him on such a great video. He says, you know, what do you think about this? You know, locking up a third of the country, you know, making them prisoners in their own home. And here's a human rights lawyer. Contrary to human rights and common sense, say, yeah, you know, it's not actually a human rights, you know, issue. You know, it's just banning people from participating in society. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm joking now, you know, tongue in cheek. Horrific. It's like, okay, the human rights, even the Austrian human rights guy is, you know, just, it makes you want to foam at the mouth if you were an emotional person rather than, you know, being retrospective and introspective and examining things with a cool-eyed, you know, steely-eyed gaze. Like, this is just rabid anti-intellectual insanity. It's stupid. Of course it's a human rights violation. It's just, any other point in time in history, it's like, you know, we're just going to take a third of the country and forbid them from participating in society and lock them up like dogs. You know, I know they need to get food to stay alive, but, you know, they got to stay home unless they want to get groceries. I mean, that's just, if that's not a human rights violation, then nothing is. The comments are fascinating. I think I read most of the comments. The responses when he's interviewing the Austrians on the streets, like, what do you think about, you know, a third of the country being, you know, banned from society and, you know, forced to stay in their home? All these Austrians, except for one, there's one guy, a fat, balding guy, Austrian. He actually had the correct answer. All the rest of them's like, oh yeah, you know, just, they actually said this, oh, it's just, yeah, it's a bunch of flat earthers. I don't know if you know what the signal I'm making when I do this. I put this over. Yeah, it's just like there's a bunch of crazy flat earthers, you know. Basically, the Austrians in the street being interviewed by Freddie Sayre in this video, which please God watch it, is saying, you know, to hell with these people. This sort of, I'm going to go so far and you could beat me down. And I have nothing against Austrians at all. I'm half German. Nothing against them at all. I mean, these people of, and when I say these people, I mean, obviously you cannot make generalizations. It's just, have these people that, in the video, and the countless ones that are not in the video, countless millions that are not, have they learned nothing from World War II and the atrocities therein of, when you dehumanize people, and these people in the street, when he was interviewing him in Austria, they're absolutely dehumanizing their own fellow citizens, like they're a bunch of, you know, unibrow simians. You know, they've completely This is exactly how it started. There's a famous book written about this. There have been a million books written about why, you know, the horrible things in Deutschland, in Germany, happened. And a great one is a guy, historian, I forget his name and forget the title of the book. He accurately says, listen, there was an assemblage of literally not more than a handful of people doing super evil things in Germany in 1940. And there are people just saying, just following orders, which is essentially just as evil. But none of this would have happened without the cooperation of the citizenry. You know, in other words, the book concludes, rightfully so, and the Germans have essentially agreed, you know, that's an important statement, that the German citizens were responsible for that. So this sort of dehumanization, this medical apartheid, Austria, and here's the new development. That's not in this video, but it came out like 24 hours ago, maybe 48 hours ago, the development in Austria. Austria will be also the first country, Austria's first country to lock down the unjust, like, you know, some sort of, you know, subhuman species of critter, You know, like a rabid dog to be, which is, you know, I'll let you make your own conclusions on that. Now, the new development in Austria, and I'll read a quote here from one of their leaders, is that by February, I forget the exact date in February, that in Austria now is, this is the thing you don't want to be first in, mandatory juicing of everybody. Here's the quote. Those refusing to be juiced are to face administrative fines, which can be converted into a prison sentence if the fine cannot be recovered. In other words, if you're too broke, I wonder when they're going to start breaking your door down with in Austria. When are they going to start breaking your door down and like pinning you down and going like this? You know, there you go. Maybe they just tattoo your forehead. I know they had this thing before juice passports. You know, before iPhones. Let me think about this a second. Yeah, before iPhones and technology had this other little thing of a code, and I think it was a tattoo. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Yeah, like, you know, identify. Okay, yeah, tattoo. So, Austria is going to be the first country that mandatory juicing. And if you ain't got the money, we're going to throw your butt in jail. This is not hyperbole. This is words directly from the government official. Yeah, when you haven't got the money, you know, we're going to fine you if you don't get juice. And if you don't have the money, we're just going to throw your butt in jail. That's not hyperbole. That's directly from, I forget the government's, I can't even pronounce his last name. I should have written it down on this. Humble apologies for that. You could look it up to verify it yourself. It's real. It's confirmed. You don't really know anything about anybody until you scratch the surface. In good times, people are always superficially. It's okay, guy. You know, you find out about somebody as you scratch the surface. You put them in a stress situation. Whether the stress is real or not. Wink, wink, nod, nod. You don't know anything about anybody or any group of people until you scratch the surface and you stress it out a little bit. That's actually how they test cars, for example, like crash testing cars. You know, they stick dummies in there and they crash test them like, yeah, this car's got a problem. You get in a wreck in this car, you're going to die. Testing things. And in normal times, everything kind of looks okay. Just like Australia. Everybody thought Australia was a bunch of crocodile Dundees and fuzzy koala bears. It's like, oh, Australia, mate. Down under, I'd like to visit there. Have myself a bloomin' onion. And you scratch the surface, you know, as what has been happening in the past. And now everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe this fundamental evil is going on in Australia. So Austria is about to make what's happening in Australia, two names that sound very similar, right? Australia and Austria. Austria is about to make what's going on in Australia look like child's play by comparison. And what's more, a bunch of Europeans, including a bunch of Deutschlanders, have told me, and there are facts to confirm this, that Germany is hinting at doing the same thing. You know, supposedly an explosion of cases in Deutschland. Okay. Maybe there is. I don't know the facts on that. Germans, some Danes, some Poles, they've told me, it's like you can't believe what is about to creep around the corner in Europe. Specifically, it's Slovakia, Serbia, Deutschland, Austria, of course. I haven't heard anything out of the Schweiz. Actually, I have. I've heard a couple bad things about things are about to get really bad in the Schweiz, i.e. Switzerland. So, by some date in February, I forget the exact date, you got to be juiced in Austria, or they're going to fine your butt, and if you don't have the money, they're going to throw your butt in jail. Okay, so, yeah, you tell me what you think about that. I'm not going to pass any judgment one way or the other on that. None of my business. You really have to watch this video. The mindset of these people being interviewed in Austria, if you really want to know, because it wasn't just a handful of people that made a lot of evil stuff happen in Deutschland in the 40s. It was a whole collective psychology. You know, dehumanization. There's these people talking about their fellow Austrian countrymen like they're, you know, some sort of unspeakable, well, just imagine. This is exactly what they did. Dehumanization. Just pure, flat-out demonic evil. There's nothing else to call it other than what it is, which is demonic evil. I beg you to watch this video. Since I didn't live in the 40s, and you didn't live in the 40s unless you're really old, you want to see what kick-started a great evil in Deutschland. Of course, there's many things that kick-started, you know. There wasn't actually World War I or World War II. World War II was just a long pause after World War I, so we really did the same thing. Many historians have said this fact. So there's a lot of things that kick-started that off in Germany that are not parallels to that, but the exact same dehumanization, this medical apartheid, this absolute demonic evil. There's nothing else to call it. Just tell me what you think about the citizens that are interviewed on the street by Mr. Freddie Sayers. I suggest you watch the video. Most people don't know history. Those who don't know history, and man, Americans really don't know history. I bet there's like only one person in 100,000 Americans. Like if you give them a globe, some flat earther's going to leave a comment about me mentioning the globe. If you give someone a globe, I'm probably 1 in 100,000 Americans are going to like immediately, there's Austria right there. Everybody's like, I don't know, Austria? They flipping the globe, or I have no idea where the hell Austria is at. Is that a real country? Oh, it's not funny at all. It's absolute flat-out evil. Flat-out evil. I am shocked by nothing, but that video is shocking. Yeah, the human rights lawyer is advocating for, you know, the abuse and intolerance, horrific intolerance towards the Austrian citizens. And everybody, you know, the people on the streets, yeah, to hell with them. Of course, they don't say to hell with them, but they were saying in a nice way. Even though it was pure evil, they're saying in a nice way, to hell with, you know, a fellow Austrian. You know, to hell with those people, you know. You know, let them rot in their houses. You know, to hell with them. They don't get to participate. So it just, that's sick and twisted. And if you don't agree, then there's absolutely something wrong with you as well. Wake up! Wake up! Pathetic.